Let me start recording. Okay, so coming back to where we left, so we were saying that the cost of fixing, okay, when it's because of the requirements is more, isn't it? That means, let's say we do the training, okay, we complete this training, and then we realize, oh, BA was not for me, right? So that is more expensive, isn't it? So of course, if everything is important, the process is important, okay, Zoom working is also important, but more than that, I think the objective is more important, right? So that's where the BA roles are very important, okay, that we have to get the objectives right, okay, and then okay, we said that as a BA we look at the business need, okay, and then come up with a solution. So the way we work is, okay, and this is where I had left the other day, and yesterday we couldn't complete it, is this. So these are the steps, okay. So as I said, right, it all starts with business. So the step one, okay, so see here, you will see two types of boxes, rectangle boxes and the box with this cut here. So when you see this cut box, these are like documentation, okay, so we have to create our documents, and this rectangle boxes are the steps, okay. Keep saying yes in between, okay, so that I'll know, otherwise I'll, if there is a problem, I may not even know. Okay, so step one is to analyze the enterprise. Okay, enterprise means business. Analyze the business, understand what as a company they have to do next. Okay, so they have to launch into new market, they have to launch new product, or they have to improve the existing product, or they have to improve their sales, whether they have to improve their customer service, right? So there's an entire a lot of options for companies to grow, but where should they focus, right? And you design your strategy for next 1 year. So analyzing the enterprise is not only analyzing your own business, but also the segment, right? Your competition, right? Your technology, all the external factors that we spoke on day one. So you analyze everything, and then you come up with decision package. Okay, so decision package is again a document, okay, where this document is created as a result of analyzing the enterprise, right? Step one is analyze the enterprise, and you create a decision package. Okay, so decision package talks about what is your objective, okay, what do you want to do, and why you want to do. Okay, so generally company starts doing this in September, October time frame, and by December they'll be ready with this. And then they present it to the management. Okay, go, no go, okay, is a decision that management has to make. Okay, so when you present your analysis, okay, you say that, okay, these are the things that we have figured out, and this is the these are the things that we need to do so that we can improve our business. And this and the CEOs, CXOs, the department heads, that's where you present your idea, and they will say, okay, idea looks good, let's go ahead. Or they say, no, I don't think this is good, I don't think this makes sense, okay, let's drop it. So this is where you have to work, okay, on, of course, your proposal, your ideas, and also should have enough documents, enough research needed to back up your objective, right? If you're not able to convince your management, then they will reject your proposal, right? You have to convince them that why company should do, how much money they of course, it is all about financials end of the day, right? How much money they will need to invest, and what are you going to get in return, right? So if I invest $10, I need to get at least $20 in return, right? So you have to show all those plans. And I just said, right, this is just to understand the process. We'll get deeper into it, right? We'll get to understand deeper. So slowly I'm taking you down, okay? First we're talking about BA, then talking about the BA process. Then the third stage is that going down to each of those BA process, and then we'll be doing some small mini assignments kind of this to understand each of the process. Okay, so any questions so far here?
No.
Great. Okay, so you analyze, you present your analysis with backup, with should be backed up with your research, with your. They'll ask you why. Why do you think that, right? So you have to have enough confidence in your presentations, and if they agree, okay, of course there will be many such proposals that would be presented, and company would decide on various parameters. One could be that no, they think that they cannot invest so much of money, right? They say no, we can't invest, or it could be because of risk. No, we can't take that risk, right? So it depends upon the nature of the business as well, right? Even in the same segment, some companies are risk takers. Some companies are they don't want to take risk, right? Okay, so because of various parameters, they will approve or disapprove, right? If they disapprove, you go back and rework. So once the proposals are approved, it goes to the next step called define the vision and scope. Okay, CEO of the company will announce next year that this is our plan for this year, right? So a lot of work has already gone behind. Okay, when CEO says that this is what we will do this year, we are focusing on customer service, we are focusing on profitability, whatever they decide. So there's a lot of work has already gone behind. Okay, and once they approve, that's when they will announce it to the other employees. So as an employees, other employees of the company, they would know, okay, this is the focus of our company for this year. So you come, so the CEO or the company will come up with vision and scope document. So now vision and scope documents are also created by BA based on the work which happened before, right? Analyze the enterprise, or we also call it as business case document. Okay, so you must have heard of business case document. That's what is created in step one. From business case document, you come up with vision and scope. What is that company is trying to do for next year? That's the vision. And the scope. What all department, which all processes in the company, okay, would be impacted. Okay, so you create your vision and scope, and you see there's a vision and scope report. Okay, that is the documentation that is created. Once you understand the scope, okay, so scope is important. Okay, so in a layman term, scope is like, I'm going to compare this with the training, okay, so that you are able to make linkages. So scope is like the syllabus, right? Why do we create a syllabus? Okay, that is scope, right? The syllabus is like scope. This is what we need to do. So when you start a project or a process work, you will you may not know where you end up with, right? So if you have a syllabus, you know that, okay, these are the 10 things that I need to learn, right? So when I gave you that assignment, remember, I hope everybody has done it. If you have not done, please do it. Okay, where you have to go and look at the job profiles and document it. Okay, so that is like your scope, right? That is like so analyzing different jobs, okay, and openings is your analyzing the enterprise. Okay, you're trying to understand the requirement, describe part, and then you create your vision and scope document. Vision is to that I need to master these 20 things or 15 things, right? That's your vision. And why it is important to create? Because that will guide you, okay, what you should do and what you should not do. What is not covered is not something that you need to do. Okay, because I said, right, if you do not keep a syllabus, if you do not keep those 20 topics in your Excel, then you will, whatever you see, you will try to read it. But is that making sense? Is that relevant for your immediate objective? Okay, of course, studying, learning is not bad, right? It's always good. But will that help you in immediate future, right? Is that something that you want to do it now, correct? So, whatever I tell you, even going beyond BA will definitely help you. But is that the objective? No, right? Our objective is to make you ready to face BA interviews as soon as possible. Okay, so that's the scope. Scope defines what should be done. Okay, so when you have a scope, so content in the scope document, it also talks about what should not be done, right? What is there in the document is what you should do, scope, and what is not there, you should not do it, isn't it? So in the beginning of the year, companies will come up with a scope document. so that every employee, every department is clear about what is expected of them. And rest of the year is all about executing it. Okay. But before executing, you need to have a plan. And that's what the third step talks about, planning requirements. Okay. And you come up with requirements work plan document. Okay. So you know the vision, you know the scope, right? So you know that, okay, these are the 20 things that I need to learn to master or to face interview in BA. How will you learn those 20 things? You can't learn all the 20 things at same time, right? Some things are prerequisite, some things you need to learn before others, right? And how much time you need to spend, how much in depth you need to know concepts, correct? All those things are explained in work plan. Work plan will tell you, okay, this is the number one thing that I need to do. This is the number two thing I need to do. Okay, I need to spend this much time. I need to do this. Okay, so complete work plan, okay, in terms of effort, in terms of time, okay, is created here. Okay, you will also talk about the teams that will carry out. So, but when you talk about your personal stuff, it's only you, right? So that's why when we are creating our own personal document, personal requirements, planning requirements, we don't talk about teams because it's all we. But when you're doing for a business, it's also about team, individual who would carry out the project, right? So this is like creating a detailed project plan on paper. You have still not executed. Okay, so you see the first gray box. Okay, here you see pre-planning. So all these are pre-planning stage. Analyzing the enterprise, defining the vision and scope, and third step is planning requirements. All these are your pre-planning step, the planning that you need to do before you start executing it, right? So now when you have the work plan, it becomes easy to execute. Why? Because whatever you have documented it, same thing you have to execute it. Document, if you have mentioned that I need to learn about business case, now you're actually learning business case, right? The plan you're talking about that we need to perform benchmarking of our XYZ product with ABC product. So now you have to execute, you have to do the benchmarking stuff. Okay, so the blue box that you see is execution part. Executing what? Executing the plan that you have created. That's called execution. Now, if you see eliciting requirements, okay, eliciting requirements. Again, what is the meaning of elicit? Elicit means, okay, it's like gathering, okay, collection, but it is different in a way that gathering is, it gives you a meaning that, okay, give me everything, okay, and you put it in a bag. It's not like that. Why? What should I collect? Okay, so you are also trying to understand the purpose behind it. So here I always like to give this example of a waiter. Okay, so let's say you go to a restaurant, okay, and so one kind of waiter will come and stand with pen and paper. Okay, tell me what you want. Okay, you say I want this, and guy will note it down and will deliver it to you. Okay, so that guy is also performing a business analysis role. Okay, the business analyst role is like that. You talk to the customer, which is your the business person, isn't it? And then you understand what the requirements are, and you give to the technical team. Correct? The problem with that is, okay, see, it is good when as a business you know what you want, right? So again, coming back to the waiter and the restaurant example, when you know what you want to eat, it is good, right? You don't need anybody to tell you because you know what you want to eat. But now let's look at this business scenario. You are doing a project because you have not done it before, okay? And you're doing it because you have not done it before, and it means that you don't know much about it. Right, so it's like going to a restaurant where you have never gone. Let's try to eat a French food. Let's say you have never tried a French food. So when you go to a French restaurant, okay, you expect the waiter to help you understand. Okay, when you order something, that waiter will tell you, okay, no, see, this is that kind of taste, and probably you will not like it because of whatever reason. So I would not recommend this for you. Possible, right? So what you are doing here as a business analyst or as a waiter here is that you are trying to understand the customer's taste, right? And based on that, you're recommending what they should order, right? So this illustration is not like the first case. Okay, tell me what you want. Okay, point 1, 2, 3, 4. I will pass on to the chef. Chef is at IT people. Okay, and customer who has come to eat in a restaurant is your business people. So it is not as simple as that. Okay, that we call as gathering. Okay, and you will hear in some most of the document they'll use requirements gathering. So what document, or the best practices is that gathering should not be the right word. Gathering gives a wrong meaning. It means that it is fallen there, you're picking up. Okay, it's BA role is not that simple that okay, you tell me what you want, I'll pass on the chip to the chef. No. Okay, you are trying to understand, and you're also helping them to customize. See, every business problem is different. You talk about same different companies in same domain, right? Say Pepsi and Coca-Cola, let's say. They are exactly same type of company, they do exactly same work. Okay, they might have same problem. Okay, they might want to improve same thing, but still your approach would be slightly different, if not totally different. Okay, no two company has same business strategy or business plan. So even though the problem might look same, the solution cannot be exactly the same. You all are with me? Yes, no?
Yes, Arnav.
Okay, great. So, let's say you go to Pepsi and you perform certain activity, and then, after your, okay, and after your project ends, a Coke comes to you and says that, okay, and you realize that it's the same kind of problem. You cannot say, no, 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 don't worry. Okay, I know what you want and I'll go and get it for you. No, you have to listen to the Coke. You understand their problem. Okay, even though you might have worked on 10 different things on the same stuff, but okay, first thing first is that you have to understand that we are all different. Okay, as a business also, we are all different businesses. Okay, no two business, okay, even though they work in same domain, they could be part of same global company, let's say. Okay, global company. Let's take example of Infosys. Infosys might have consulting A and consulting B. Even the work they will do will be different, right? Even though it's part of same global company, but still being a different team, they'll have different challenges, different problems, right? Doesn't mean that same, everybody has same problem. No. So we need to understand, okay, and your role here would be more like a detective. Okay, what do you want? Okay, so when you see, let's say again, I'd like to take this example, right? Waiter example. When you see, oh, these guys looks like Indians. So Indians probably have this kind of taste. Again, not all Indians are same, isn't it? But you can make that okay, maybe So when you order something, the guy should probably you may not be able to like it because this has more of this ingredient, which based on my experience, Indians don't like it, right? Possible. So you have to be more knowledgeable than your business customers. Okay, so reason is okay, and there's a funny saying there. Okay, now it's like this. Now let's say I'm your customer and I need to tell you something. Okay, if I don't know, how will I tell you, right? If you have come to me for some suggestions, okay, I don't know, so I can't tell you, isn't it? So of course the company has problem, they don't know how to come out of the problem. That's where they have hired you. Second thing is, even if I know, I will not tell you, because I believe that if I know, so you will also know. Okay, so in either case, Your customer is not going to tell you. Okay, because you say, yeah, this is fine. Okay, now for example, okay, silly example, but just trying to pass on the message to you. Okay, let's do, if we are doing a, we have to do a plus. Okay, and if I see a problem, I know this problem so is simple. So if this problem seems simple for me, then I'll assume that this problem will also seem simple to you, and that's the human tendency. So even if I know, I will not tell you because I assume that you also know. And if I don't know, second case is I don't know. If I don't know, then how can I tell you? You understand this, right? So as a business analyst, you should understand this nature of or thinking of your customer. That if they don't know, they can't tell you. And even if they know, they will not tell you because they assume that you also know. Okay. So that's where you have to act like detective or, you know, what you call FBI officer trying to integrate. Is this the thing? Okay, do you want to do this? Where you keep asking questions. Okay, and we'll talk about again, as I said, right? We are going to get into details, right? So we'll talk about sample questions which you can start discussing with your customer, which will lead you towards the business problem. Okay, so when business comes to you, first thing is that you need to understand their problem, isn't it? And without talking to them, without probing, without actually, you know, working with your customers, you will not know the problem. That's why eliciting requirement, we call it. We don't call it as gathering requirements. Okay, gathering looks like very simple, that, you know, you don't have any work kind of. It's there fallen and you're just picking up. No, it's not like that. You have to ask right questions, and that's what eliciting requirements is all about. Eliciting requirement is a hands-on, or you can say the execution type of work, where you have to go arrange meetings. Okay, it could be surveys, meetings, interviews, okay, whatnot, and you're getting all the information. So when you get all the information, okay, and that information is super helpful because all your business process, okay, will be dependent on that information that you have gathered, right? So business, the restaurant will make money based on what items in the menu has been sold by the waiter. So as a business analyst, whatever you get, that becomes a business problem. So it is important, okay, and it is so important that here you don't have a documentation as part of eliciting requirement. We have created a separate step itself for documentation. Unlike analyze, enterprise, define, scope, and planning, you know, you have process, you have document, process, document, process, document. But here, process of eliciting is anyway process, but documentation is also a process. Okay, and we will be spending a lot of time on this process. This process is important to understand the working, okay, or not working, okay, sorry, we'll understand exactly what needs to be delivered to your customer, right? Again, link it to the, don't talk about, you know, waiter and the food when you're talking, answering the interview, but I'm giving that example for that you understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, and then you explain in your own words. Okay, so documentation is a separate process, okay, where whatever you have captured, okay, in elicitation, you're capturing again in documentation. Okay, and you end up creating what is called as BRD document, business requirements document. Okay, BRD is that you will hear almost every day in your life. Okay, where is BRD? Is it ready? Have you seen? Okay, it's like, you know, you create this document and everybody else, okay, it's like that, you know, the order that you have taken, isn't it? Okay, the order that you have taken from your customer, that is important paper, isn't it? Whether you're taking on paper or in the app, okay, that is important thing, because everybody in the chain, whether it is the chef, whether it's the guy who is going to serve the food, okay, they should know what you want, right? So that is what we create BRD. BRD is bread and butter for BA. Okay, you will create BRD's document. Once you know how to create BRD document, you are a BA. Okay, so we create BRD document. Okay, now once BRD is created, then there's a break for us. Okay, break in the sense we pass that BRD document to the technical team, the IT team, who's going to deliver the project. They will take your BRD document and they'll start working on the project, and they will create files. They'll say, okay, Mr. or Miss BA, here is your software that you wanted based on the BRD that you created. So if your software is created based on BRD, it is important that your BRD is complete, and correct. Okay, so that it is easier, and it leads to a project software, which is what customer want actually. The worst thing could be that you create a BRD and the technical team delivers it, and then when you take it to the customer says, no, this is not what I want, isn't it? And all your effort has gone waste. So that is what we call it as assessing and validating the requirements. So once the validation is done, okay, it goes to the customer. Customer will test it. Okay, so there are two types of testing. One testing is done by the QA team within the BA, okay, within your own company where BA will work, and then it goes to the customer. Customer will do the basic testing, okay, in the sense, like, again, talking about the same example, restaurant. So the chef will prepare the food. We are not talking about food preparation. We're not talking about the chef's role. That is project management thing. We're not talking about the business process, right? We're talking about everything up to the order is taken, and then serving is also part of BA. So because again, you're talking to customers. So when you bring your food to the customer will say, no, this doesn't look like what I ordered, isn't it? The color is different, the taste is. So what you're doing is you're doing customer acceptance test, okay, or customer acceptance test CAT. So as a customer, you're testing. When you go and buy a mobile phone, right? So you will do some basic tests, right? You will see if phone is working, camera is working, app is working, right? Those basic tests you will do, right? It doesn't mean that food is great. Doesn't mean that your phone doesn't have any problem, but you're performing basic tests to understand that you got what you ordered, right? So let's say if I ordered product, food A and food B has come, and B doesn't look like A, you will say, no, it doesn't look like this, please take it back. So as a customer, has always this thing that no, it doesn't meet my requirement, you take it back. Okay, so in that case, again, you have to rework and bring it to customer. Okay, so once CAT is done, customer has accepted your product, then it's like implementation will start. Okay, you go and start implementing customer side. Of course, there will be problem. So it doesn't mean that when you do the basic test of your food, okay, still the food can taste bad, right? So, but then you can say that, oh, salt is less, this is more, that is less. Okay, so once the software is installed, again the customer can have problem. Generally for 6 months or 1 year, they'll have free support, they call it, right? Because all your problems that you identify is resolved using that first 6 months. Okay, so first 6 months generally we provide free support so that any problem, anything can be resolved. Okay, done. So what happens is, still there could be problem. Doesn't mean that once you pass or once you accept the phone, your phone will not will work perfectly, right? You might have some other problem, but when some other problem happens after you buy the phone, it will go to the customer support team, isn't it? They'll say, okay, we have a service center, can you get our phone to the service center, right? So same thing here. Okay, after customer accepts your product, and if there is a problem, then you have a separate team, okay, that will work on the problems. Okay, and okay, so that's where we stop. So we start with analyzing enterprise, we define the vision and scope, we create the plan of what needs to be done, how, then we start executing the plan. Okay, executing the plan here means getting the requirements. You have the requirements, you document it. There's a particular way of doing it. We'll see that. Once it is documented, then you pass on to the technical team. They will code, and they will test your application, and finally they will deliver it to you. Okay, and then once it's delivered, customer has to perform the basic test, acceptance test. Okay, so once the acceptance test is done, that's when you will deliver the product to the customer. So these are the steps that are involved in business analysis process. Okay, so for next 10 to 12 hours, we are going to spend time on these, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6, and if you include this, 7 processes. Right?
Okay. Okay, sir.
So I will take break for 30 seconds. I want you to just try to revise all these steps. See the how things are flowing, and let me know if it is okay, or you want me to repeat anything. Shall we move ahead? Shall we move ahead?
You can go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we discussed about traceability. Okay, so as a business analyst, these are the things that you're expected to perform. Okay, so let's spend some time on this. So you have first step, which is called business case development, right? So okay, see, these are the steps that we perform in those 7 steps, right? These are the activities that we perform within those 7 steps, right? So first thing is called business case development, right? So can you guess when is business case development work done? I mentioned this word before, isn't it? Can you guess which process will have this activity? I did say that. I just want to see if you remember it or not. Analyze the enterprise. Okay, analyzing the enterprise. Okay, one of the key activities that you perform is called business case development. Business case development talks about 2 things. Okay, what is my cost and what is my benefit? Right? You must have paid some money, right? Fees for this course, right? And you would have paid it only when you were convinced that you're going to get more than what you paid. So what we do that's called business case development. Okay. So in business, okay, it is not that simple. You have to spend some time. So here, it's all about the financial. Business case is all about financial. We will learn how to create a business case document. Of course, this is more of a management subject. Okay, and for a BA, it is good to know, right? It's a good to know. Generally, the senior BAs, okay, the BAs who will rise up to become chief operating officer and things like that, they will create. Okay, so as when you start a career, you will not be talking about business case development. Okay, but it's good to know, right? Because that falls under your domain only. In business case document, we talk about the input cost and the benefit that you will get over next 1 year, 5 years, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, so on. right? So how much? So sometimes, okay, you don't get benefit within a year. So when you talk about, say, oil exploration, the companies which are performing oil drilling, right? Now, let's say if you have to go to deep ocean and you have to drill. Imagine the cost, correct? So much of cost, millions of dollars you have to spend. It could be like hundreds of millions of dollars you have to spend to drill in a sea, right? First, you have to construct a platform, you have to construct all those things, and imagine the oceans are so deep, right? So the amount of cost that you'll be putting in is very high. But once you find the oil, okay, within a week of 10 days, you can recover all your cost, isn't it? Oil is so expensive, isn't it? So business case talks about, okay, now if not all of us can start a oil exploring company, right? Not everybody is willing to risk $200, $200 million, right? Okay, but somebody who's willing to risk $200 million, they will go and they will drill it. And if they don't find, all $200 is lost. But if you find oil, you can make billions just by from same oil, right? So you can convert 200 million into billion if you find oil. So that is called business case development. So here you talk about the cost, you talk about the benefit, you talk about the other aspect as well, timeline, risk, all those things. Okay, but mainly there are two things: cost and benefit. Okay. Next one is called requirements management. Okay, once you get the requirements from the, who will give you the requirements?
Business team.
Business team, yes.
A client means, that means client,
Correct.
whoever is our client, what they need, they'll give their requirements.
Exactly.
Based on that will.
Correct. So client. Okay, so see, this meeting will end in less than a minute. Okay, if it ends, please join back using same link. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll do for another 15-20 minutes before we wrap up. Okay. So requirements management, as I said, right? You're right. You will get requirements from your business, from your clients, right? From because we discussed about that you are the liaison between business and the IT, right? So you get from the business team. Perfect. So once you get the business team, how do you manage it? How do you make sure that all those requirements are implemented? So there are certain steps that you have to manage. Okay. So first thing first is that when you get the requirements, you have to say who has given you. Okay. So the source of the requirement. So you say, okay, this team has given, project management team has given, or sales team has given, or whatever, right? And then you also talk about the priority, right? So priority is also important. Okay, so we were saying that you need to capture the source and then also the priority, right? You will end up getting 100 requirements. Not all 100 requirements you can deliver in same day or same month, right? So you have to figure out how to prioritize, okay, which is high priority, medium priority, low priority, okay? And you'll say, okay, we got 100 requirements, great, but we have only 3 months to do it. So in the 3 months, we will focus on, okay, we'll focus on just these 15 or 10 or 12 high priority requirements. So we'll focus on those high priority requirements. Okay, and then you will deliver it. In the next phase, you look at existing requirement. You'll ask if there is more requirements that you need to take up, and then again you'll recreate. So it's possible that in second phase, what was low priority can become a high priority, which was medium priority can become low priority, right? So what is important, say medium important today, tomorrow it can be high or low priority as well, right? Priority will change. Okay, it can change for higher or for lower, right? So that's why this prioritization, we do it every time we do it. Okay, doesn't mean that, okay, the high, you deliver the high priority stuff, and then second phase you'll deliver medium priority, and third phase low priority. No. Okay, you have to prioritize stuff when you're doing it. So requirements management is all about that. Capturing requirements, making sure that you understand the prioritization of the requirement and getting it done. Okay. So that step is called, or that activity is called requirements management. Then UAT, right? Or CAT or UAT, user acceptance test or customer acceptance test. What is that? We discussed this, right? Tell me, what is this?
Whoever our client, they'll use it and they'll say there's some bug.
So they will not use it. Okay, so you will not take the phone. Correct. I understand what you're trying to say. I'm just trying to change the words that you have said. So when you say use, it means that you're taking the phone. You're saying, okay, I'll use it for 2 days and then I'll tell you, I'll pay you the money, right? Not that, but you will test the important functionalities. Okay, when I say important, which is important for the customer, right? Let's say if you're buying a phone, but for you, camera is more important. Then you'll focus on camera. You'll probably not test other component, other things. You'll test the camera, and you're happy with the camera, you'll buy the phone, right? So every customer, okay, will have the import. So of course, everything is important. When you buy a phone, you're buying a phone because you want to buy a phone, right? Otherwise, if camera was the only important thing, you would have bought a camera itself, right? But you're buying a phone because everything phone provides is important. But within that, what is more important, because you can't test everything, right? You can't spend 6 hours testing every features of a phone in the store. You'll have probably 10 minutes or 15 minutes or half an hour maximum, or maybe say 1 hour to buy a phone, right? Whatever you can do in 1 hour, right? So you can probably test 2 things. So you will only test 2 things before you're taking it home. So which 2 things, which is important for you? So when you say customer, Mr. or Miss Customer, we are done. Here is the product. Customer say, okay, before I accept, let me test it. So whatever is important and which can be done within given time period, they will test it and say, okay, yes, I'm satisfied. Okay, implement it now. So you will implement it. Okay, so UAT is about testing the final product before customer accepts it. Okay, and what is being tested? They test what is important from the customer's perspective. Not all the features, but few features, 2, 3, 4 features, they'll test it and they'll accept it. Okay, so that is again, UAT is a big milestone. Okay, so when I say BA training is done, right? So you'll say, okay, let me go back and see. Okay, so you have already noted down 15 topics. You'll compare 1, 2, 3, 4. I have done, let's say, 12 out of 15. So sorry, you have done 12, but 3 more is pending. Right? 3 more is pending. That means you have rejected my proposal. So in UAT, you have not accepted. So no, you have to do 3 more topics before I accept. Okay, so okay, fine. Give me. So you again, I'll take those 3 topics. I'll say, no, you're done. You will go and verify. Said yes, all the topics are covered. I'm happy. So that is what you have accepted. So I'm as a as a business analyst, I'm giving you the solution and you accept it. Okay, and then the implementation of all those things happens. So UAT is a big milestone, right? If UAT is rejected, you will not get money, right? So the training will not be deemed as completed when you don't accept that all topics are covered, right? So it is an important milestone. Then you have stakeholder management plan. Okay, here stakeholder means people or the teams. Okay, so people can be because mostly in corporate world it's because of the position, isn't it? The team that they're leading, right? People can change, right? So stakeholders are the people or the department member who will be directly or indirectly impacted by the project. Okay, they're called stakeholders. They have a stake in the project. Okay, if project goes well, they'll get benefited. If project doesn't go well, they will find it difficult, right? They could be giving you money for doing it, or they could be the team which is actually will be using your product, or somehow, okay, the team is impacted by the new project. They're called stakeholders. So stakeholders management plan. Okay, we have again, as I said, right, we have a detailed document. We can see how to manage a stakeholder. But here you need to know in the beginning is that stakeholder is about managing the expectations of the stakeholders. What are their expectations? Okay, and how to manage them. The problem here could be that two stakeholders might have different objectives, right? If they have different objectives, then before you actually start working, you have to bring them to the same page, right? Because you deliver, one customer says, yeah, I'm happy. Other customer says, no, I'm not happy, right? That's a, you cannot deliver two opposite stuff in the same project, isn't it? So before you start working, you manage the stakeholders' objectives, make sure that everybody is aligned together and you can deliver a project. Okay, if the stakeholders are not aligned among themselves, you have to work with them and make sure that their requirements are in same line. Working with QA team, quality analyst, okay, they are the teams who will test the product. Okay, so once you give the requirements document, BRD, to the technical team, they will code it. And after coding, the BA team will test it. Okay, what will they test? They will test against the requirements that you have captured. The requirements, you will say that patients should be able to register themselves using phone number. Let's say that's the requirement. Patients should be able to register themselves using phone number. So the QA team will create a dummy patient, and using that ID, the QA team will try to register and see if it is able to meet your requirement or not. So whatever requirements that you have given before coding has started, after coding the product is ready to be given for UAT. So this happens before UAT. So your QA team will test it, all the requirements, and say yes, product is good, we can give it to customer. That's when the UAT happens. So QA team will keep on testing, okay, the quality of the product. Okay, that's called working with QA team. Then you have end user training. Okay, end user training, we're talking about the end user, okay, who is going to use your product. So they may be the stakeholders, but they may not be the stakeholders. They might be people reporting to the stakeholders. But these are the actual people who's going to use your software. Okay, so you have to train them, isn't it? If you talk about ERP kind of software, the training is very expensive because that's a complex software. You have to train every aspect of it. Okay, it can be, and when you do a small project, okay, any training may not be required, right? So if it is a mini small project, not very complex, then training may not be required. But most of the software will provide some kind of training. It could be 1 hour training or it could be 1 month long training. But yes, training is important to make sure that your product is being used in the right manner. Many times this happens, okay? And the reason, see, if you type in Google success stories of ERP, you will get success stories. This company did it and they expected to be up and running in 10 months, but they were up and running in 3 months itself. Great, that is also true. And when you type in the Google failed stories or success cases of ERP, then again you will get hundreds of cases. Okay, so ERP as a software is not good or bad. It's the same software, but in some cases it is good. It has benefited the customer. In some cases, same software has not benefited. So difference is in between the usage. Okay, doctor will give same medicine for different patient complaining of the same thing. But if you don't complete the dose, right? If you do not take the medicines on time, then you can't blame the doctor. So same thing here, you have to, if the people who are actually using the software, okay, they are the end users, they have to use it in a right manner. If they use it in right manner only, your software will be successful, right? So that's why there's a lot of importance for the end user to get trained before they actually start using it. Okay, so again, I'll pause for 30 seconds. Let me know if you understood all these 6 components. Business case development, requirements management, UAT, stakeholder, working with QA and user. Detail part we'll do it. Okay, as I said, right now we are at a second level. Okay, then we will get down to the bottom level. Okay, second level that we are trying to understand these components. Any questions so far?
Can you just repeat the user acceptance testing, because I think I missed that portion?
No problem. We'll do that again. Okay. Apart from that, anything else?
Just as stakeholders management means that, within the team members you said, or
Stakeholders will be your, generally it is your customer, right? Again, it could be internal or external customer, right? They are the people that will be impacted by the solution. They have called you, okay? They have explained you that we have a problem and you need to solve it, isn't it? So they are the people who will be impacted by your solution. So mostly it is your customer, isn't it? How long do you want this training to be? 1 hour, 2 hours, 1.5 hours?
it's 1 hour is good actually.
1 hour
Right
is
now
good.
that's fine, but no, every day it will be 1 hour good for me.
Okay.
Because I have an infant, so.
Okay. Okay.
Right now he's sleeping. I don't have any problem.
Okay. Sure. So okay. So we'll do UAT, and then okay. Let me know. We can probably do 1 or more thing, and then we can end it. Okay. Okay. So UAT, as the name suggests, user acceptance testing. Okay. It is about user, end user, or your stakeholders, or your customers. See, your customer, stakeholders, end user, okay, user, they are same kind of people, business people. Okay, names are different because people can be different. Okay, so if you are delivering a software for sales team, so the sales head could be your stakeholder, just one guy. Okay, the field sales executive who actually will have to log in their data every day, they could be the end user. Okay, and say assistant to the sales guy, see a sales head, okay, it could be SVP, EVP kind of people, okay, chief sales officer, they don't have time to come and test your application, right? So you'll have somebody from second level, third level who will come, okay, sales manager or sales director will come and test it. So it is similar, team, similar hierarchy, but the people or the role that will be doing it will be different. Okay, so end user will be done by your field sales staff. Okay, people who are actually going and talking to customers, right? This could be with people with 0 to 5, 7, 10 years experience. Okay, stakeholder is your chief sales officer who probably reports to CEO, right? Second in rank. User acceptance test can be done by a director, right? Director is of course a senior position than field sales staff, but not as senior that that they're. It also depends upon the from sales team how much important they're giving to the project. If the project is very important, they will send senior person to do test it, isn't it? Or do the acceptance test. If it is not, let's say, if you're buying a phone for yourself, okay, you will want to go and buy the phone. You will not send your brother or sister or wife or husband, right? Because that is important for you. But if you're buying bread packet, for example, right, you can send anyone. You can send your son, daughter also to get it, okay? Because there's not much value that you can add by you going there. Anybody can do it. So it also depends upon how much important it is for you, for the stakeholder, right? If it's very critical important, then sales guy would be sitting in the UAT testing. Okay, otherwise a sales director is good enough to do that. Okay, so user acceptance testing is the team who's going to use your software will approve, saying that yes, this looks like what you're looking for, and we will test. Let's go and implement it for us. Right. So I was giving this example that when you're buying a phone, you will go and you will test some important features which is important for you. When I say important features, these are features which are important for you, right? So I give an example of testing a camera, right? So for you, of course, you're buying a phone, but let's say camera is more important than any other features of the phone. So when you get the phone in your hand, you will first test the camera. And let's say for some reason camera is not working, so you will give it back immediately. Okay, you may not have paid the money so far. Right? You'll give it back immediately, no, this doesn't look good, give me another one. Okay, so you don't have enough time. You don't have hours to test each and every part of your phone, right? So you have limited time and you need to make decision yes or no. So you will test what is important for you. It could be camera, it could be camera plus voice, it could be camera plus size or screen size or ease or whatever, right? So those things you will test it. You'll spend 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour to test it. And when you like it, you will buy it. If you don't like it, you'll ignore it. You will not buy it. Okay. But doesn't mean that, when you do the UAT, or, you don't need other features. You need, of course, other features. But since we don't have time to test everything, you will test what is important for you, right? And you will say, okay, now I'm satisfied. I'm paying money and I'm taking this stuff back home. So in UAT, in software, your customer will test the features which they think is important for them. And if your software is able to perform well in those features, they say, okay, I'm happy, implement it. Okay, so UAT is a big, important, critical process in entire end-to-end business activities. Is it clear? UAT now?
Yes, Saurabh. Yes.
Okay, great. So let's try to do a couple of more, okay? And if your infant wakes up, let us know, we will stop there. Otherwise, we'll continue for another 10 minutes, okay? And we'll stop in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Requirements elicitation. Again, we have already done this. Okay, requirements elicitation. Elicitation is getting the right set of requirements. Okay, you might have to play a role of a good waiter, not bad waiter. Okay, tell me what you want and I will pass on, right? For that case, robot can do it. Okay, you don't need a human being to do it, right? Or you can put it at the table and they can order it. But what is important is that they make your decision easier and better. They can, based on your taste and other things, they can tell you what is good for you and what may not be good for you, right? So we have to behave like that, like a good waiter, like a FBI officer, like a detective, which is trying to figure out what is best and how it is best. Okay, and then you get the list of requirements. As I said, right? Customer will not tell you because most of the things would be that they don't know. They are coming to you because they have a problem, right? So if they don't know, then how can you expect them to tell you? Even if they know, they will not tell you thinking that you already know, right? So that's why it is important for us to take out the information from them. That's whole thing is called requirements elicitation. Then access solution design. BRD is created, okay, and you give the BRD document to the customer. The technical team, not the customer, to your technical team, right? So technical team will take your BRD and now before they actually start coding, they have to create technical design from your BRD. We call it as SRS also, software requirement specification. You can, after software SRS, you might have to create the architecture diagram, right? Or the design. So these designs, when you try to create, okay, not try to create, sorry, you will not create. Okay, these will be created by the technical team. These will be created by the technical team. But you should be able to verify, know whether what they have spoken in the document is in fact the right way to do it. So it is not about your technical expertise that they're going to test it, but you have to see that the process they have, okay, or the design they have created is, okay, is on the same lines as your plan, right? Your BI document. So your BI document and this solution design document should talk about same stuff. So you are accessing and reading the document. You're not creating it, but you are accessing it and reading it. Okay, so see, when you talk about B again, I told you, right, you have business side and technical side. So generally what companies will do is they will hire from technical people also, like technical expert, and they'll hire from market on somebody who understands the business also. Okay, and depending upon the role, right? If you are high on technical, they'll put you closer to technical people. If you are high on business, they'll put you more closer to the business people, right? Customer. Okay, so here, okay, you should be able to read the technical designs and architecture diagrams and things like that. So you are accessing and trying to read. Make sense?
Yes.
So we'll stop here for today. Let me know if you want to continue. The 4 activities we will do it tomorrow.
Okay.
Sounds good?
Will we get the video of the recording?
Yes. So it might take a few minutes, because I need to combine 2 videos, but you will get it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm going to stop recording.